Hey, my name's Urban Dub. I'm a drum and bass producer, DJ and drummer. I've been in the scene for around 20 years. I've DJed across Europe, America and Canada, and I have a live project called Kilohertz where I produce the music and play the drums for the live show. I've been nominated for many awards and I've remixed artists such as Fatboy Slim, DJ Fresh, Foreign Beggars, TC, Prototypes, Friction and more. I've also had many vocalists feature on my music. Example, Harry Shotter, Skibbity, Dynamite, Rafaela, there's loads. So alongside my busy artist career, I do a lot of other work as well. I do a lot of writing, mixing and mastering for many artists and major labels. I do this at my purpose-built studio. It's just outside London. I also work with many music companies, one of them being Splice. I've just released my first Urban Dub Splice sample pack and it's called Dubplate Killers. So the pack's full of all the best drum and bass sounds I could make, presets, drums, basses, sound effects, vocals. When designing this pack, I really wanted to focus in on the right sonic content, the right punch, the right weight. And you don't have to worry about processing, mixing, it's kind of done for you. So it's really about just being creative and writing good music. So I'm going to open up a copy of Ableton, we're going to grab some of the samples and make a quick track. But I also want to talk to you about a bit of a cheat code. With these samples and many of Splice samples, they're already normalized, they're at 0 dB. All the samples are just there, ready to use. So instead of turning things up or down, we're going to keep them at the same volume and we're going to make space for each sound. That way you don't have to worry about loudness, you don't really have to worry about mix downs, it kind of takes care of itself. So we've got Ableton on the screen, we're going to write a quick track. A good place to start is drums. So we've got the folder here, the pack here. I'm going to go to audio, go to the drum one shots, grab a kick drum, audition some of them. I'm going to go with this one here, quickly put a fade on it. The most used BPMs are 172, 174 and 175. So I've already set it to 174. I'm going to grab the kick, put it there, then look for a snare drum. Kind of like that one, just cuts through. Stick that there, put that there. Then grab a hi-hat. This will do. I'm going to quickly program it. Add in a groove. We're kind of in a ballpark of a drum and bass beat. We're going to grab a bass loop. I like some of the Reese's. Grab this. I'm going to copy these drums over and make the loop twice as long. Let's make that twice as long again. Extend the loop. Cool, it sounded great. Few things. We will be clipping the master bus here. You can see the warning light here, the red light's coming on. So first of all, we could put some form of clipper or limiter. So I'm just going to grab the Pro L, put it on the master bus. I'm going to quickly open up one of my presets. So you can see the lufts here, we're hitting really good lufts. As I say, the sounds were designed, drag and drop. They can be pushed a bit more, which we'll look at in a bit. I'm going to add an analyzer to it to see what we're doing. It's perfect. Because I use analyzers a lot, I can see where the frequencies are hitting and it's all in the right area and we're kind of in a ballpark of just making music. We could grab presets, other sound, cut into it. But what I want to show you is this cheat code. So my cheat code method is grab the samples, leave them where they are, and then make space for them. And what we've got here is the headrooms being eaten up by the layering of a kick and a snare with the bass. So now I'm going to add some sidechaining, pretty standard stuff to make a bit of space for the kick and snare. So I'm going to go to the bass here. I'm going to create a group for the bass because if we add other sounds, they can all go through the same sidechain. I'll rename that G bass. I'm going to add a compressor, a sidechain compressor. Could be an Ableton stock one, but I'm just going to grab this one by FabFilter, put it on the group, open up one of my presets, I'm going to duplicate it, add the kick to this one, add the snare to that one, open them up so we can see the sidechain in, and press play. Sounding great. So from here, if we wanted to get some more out of the sounds, more out of the drums, more out of the bass, I wouldn't be touching any levels. I would be finding ways to increase the perceived loudness. So there's different ways of doing it, but one of them would be, say for instance on the bass, we add a limiter, grab one of my presets, get an EQ, could be Ableton, but we're just going to go Pro Q3. Look at the frequency balance. We don't necessarily need those tops. We're just boosting a bit more so it cuts through, and things aren't getting louder because the limiter's on top. It's squashing things down, but the perceived loudness is. What I want to make sure is that my sub is hitting in the right area. And on this analyzer, if I can get the kick and sub, maybe the sub around -10 and the kick to -5, we're in the ballpark. So we can push the kick a little bit more. But again, I don't want to turn it up. I'm going to use a limiter. We're kind of in the ballpark now. Let me cut this off. I'll quickly rename these. So if you're wanting to make space for other things like vocals, we can use EQ to carve out things. So essentially we're going to be working down. I don't want you to be working up and up and up and up, especially in level. So once you're in this ballpark and you keep adding more and more sounds, you will find that your limiter will kind of start to choke the more sounds that you add. So you can just go and grab a utility and turn the input down a bit. I've seen so many videos online and so many people talk about gain staging and all these different techniques to sort of try and get your tracks towards 0. But my method is we start at 0 and then work backwards. The kick's at 0, the snare's at 0, the bass is at 0. So we just add all them elements in, add a bit of side chain in, and then put a limiter on it, maybe use a bit of utility if we need a bit more headroom, if it's sounding a bit crunchy, and just write music. There's nothing more than that. With using samples that have been made by myself or Splice in general, you're going to have these fat sounds ready to go. And it's the same with the presets. When I'm making presets, I make them in a way where they have the full frequency content in them, and they're pretty much at 0 decibels on the synth, so you don't have to mess around with them. Yes, you can put a limiter after it because when you're playing notes and stuff, you get different volume deviations. But really what I'm trying to explain to you is just 0 everything and work down. Try and make space for things. And then you're halfway there. You don't have to worry about mix downs. A lot of this has been done for you. I've been using this method for the years. It sounds very basic what I'm explaining it to you, but a lot of people don't do it like this. They've just watched something on the internet, read something, they start turning channels down, getting lost in a mix down. I know exactly where I am at any time. This saves me hours and hours of work. I can mix my record, I can master it, it's no problem. I can just focus on being creative. So yeah, go check out the full sample pack. There's so much in there that you can use, drag and drop, reprocess, push a little bit more like we did, put a limiter on the end of things, get a bit more perceived loudness with a pre-EQ. Don't put the EQ after the limiter, it's got to be before it. And when you're using these samples, carve out a little bit of space, whether it's with a bit of EQ or side chain. And really what I'm trying to say is work backwards. You've got your starting point, you want to get your track to 0 so it's nice and loud to play out. So why not start at 0 and work backwards? Right, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I know it's the obvious, but sometimes the obvious needs stating, and it's worked for my whole career. So cool. I'll catch you very soon, and yeah, big ups.